A Plaguelands Media production.
Hey everyone, this is Hugh from Plaguelands Media bringing you another Fighting Fantasy Gamebook playthrough. If you can hear some noise in the background, that's just the washing machine. Fucking deal with it. I've got my whiskey here, which I'm going to take a sip of. Today we are playing Secrets of Salamonis by Steve Jackson. Now, what is Salamonis? Well, we are going to go to our reference book, Titan, the Fighting Fantasy World. We're going to go to our map, and you can see Salamonis is a city just here on the map of Alancia. Okay. We have our character sheet already. Skill, stamina, luck has not been filled in. We have money. 1 gold equals 10 Salamonis coins, I guess. Amanor, this is your reputation, provisions, equipment. You can actually get special skills in this one. Brawling, charisma, lucky, spelling, trap knowledge, and world lore. And these are the days of the week. Storm's Day, Moon's Day, Fire Day, Earth Day, Wind's Day, Sea Day, and High Day. I don't know how that is going to come about as we play, but let's just get started by rolling our skill, stamina, and luck. Skill, of course, is 6 plus a d6. We have 10 skill. Stamina is 2d6 plus 12. Ooh, that's not good. 16 stamina. And our luck is a d6 plus 6. 11 luck. Okay. Now, here's the adventurous sheet at the back of the book. All the encounters. Okay. Do we start with anything? How to fight the creatures of Trolltooth Pass. Battles. Days of the week. Aranor. Special skills. Equipment and money. It looks like we don't start with anything. Okay. So, let's get straight into Secrets of Salamonis. 2 heads are worse than 1. So, what do we do with it? Stick it? The voice is deep, gruff, and menacing, and no doubt belongs to a large creature of some kind. The language user, so possessed of some intelligence, but probably none too friendly by the sound of it. Instinct warns you to avoid whoever or whatever has started this conversation. Although the light is dim, your eyes soon become accustomed to the darkness. You're in a large cavern lit only by the soft light from glowstones. An unpleasant smell hangs in the air. It is the smell of decaying food. The entrance lies a short distance away, but to reach it, you will doubtless have to face the creature that calls the cave home. It is then that you notice a roughly made wooden door in the wall of the cave to your right. Hungry, comes a second voice. Eat it. Just eat it. Just eat it. Those of you that are Weird Al fans, you know what I'm talking about. Those of you that are not Weird Al fans, become Weird Al fans. Okay. That is not what you wanted to hear. What's more, there are at least 2 creatures in the cave with you. However, the second voice sounded a little softer and not as fearsome as the first. The creatures do not appear to be aware that you are awake, and that's the way you would like it to stay. But you are curious to know what you are dealing with. Your wrists and ankles have been bound, so you get to your feet and tiptoe quietly around the edge of the cave. You peer around a large boulder, and there before your eyes is one of the most bizarre creatures you have ever seen, an ogre itself would appear, an ogre itself would be a fearsome sight, but this one has two heads, a two-headed ogre, a rare and dangerous beast indeed, especially when both heads are angry at the same time with each other. In Dungeons and Dragons, a two-headed ogre or a giant is known as an Etten, and they're fucking cool. Your adventure awaits. Okay. Wait a second. Hungry, says one. One head says gruffly, looking scornfully at the other. Franish, eat too much, fat belly wench. The ogress is clearly taken aback by the outburst. So it's a male and a female ogre sharing the same body. That's freaking hilarious. She fixes the other with a glare that would melt ice. You drink too much orc ale, wake up with sore head. Not me who make head sore. You drink all night and fight. Franish not want drinking or fighting. Wake up in jail, manish is disgrace. Ah, but you not clean cave. Home messy, bones on floor, twigs, loincloths, hobbit carcass. Hobbit? Really? All right. All over fur skin, sleep blanket, cave stink. If Manish put things away where they belong, Franish not fight over clean cave. The argument is in full flow now, and it looks like it could turn into an angry clubbing match at any moment. So what do? Wait for the ogre to exhaust itself, creep quietly around the edge of the cave, or make a dash for the entrance. I'm going to wait for them to exhaust themselves, actually. This seems fucking hilarious to me. 22. Let battle commence. Franish is the first to strike, slapping Manish across the face with her left hand. It is not a particularly effective blow, but then neither are most of the blows that follow. You remain hidden while observing these bizarre proceedings. Manish makes a move to grab a wooden club with his right hand, leaning against the cave wall close to the cave entrance. But this lunge is abruptly reined in by a timely yank from Franish. Both heads are still trying to exert more influence over their legs, and they stumble around the cavern, cursing their angry other half. Eventually, the ogre heads exhaust themselves, and the creature curls up in a ball on the ground. Moments later, both Manish and Franish are snoring. This is your chance. Do you want to search the cave for anything that might be of value, or would you rather make an hasty exit? I'm going to search the cave. There could be something in here that I can use. 43. You rummage through the ogre's possessions. Among all the half-chewed bones and filthy furs, you find a small treasure chest. Hoping it might contain money or precious gems, you open it, but rather than golden jewels, not Jews, but hey, if there are Jews in there, whatever. But rather than golden jewels, you find a human skull. You have no wish to spend any more time necessary, so you make for the cave entrance. A human skull. All right. You tiptoe across the floor of the cavern, but the light is dim and you step on a twig that cracks as it breaks in two. Test your luck. Roll 2 dice. And I got 10, which is less than 11. But my luck goes down by 1. I am lucky, 169. Taking your life in your hands, you run for the exit. Your pounding footsteps echo from the cave walls, and then you hear the surprised shouts and grunts of the ogre, and then the sound of it coming after you. With the two-headed ogre in hot pursuit, you sprint out the cave. As you do so, you pass a small figure crouching just inside the entrance. The little man is dressed in bright green clothes, has pointed ears, bright orange hair, and a wicked grin on his face. Mind how you go, he says with a cheery wave as you run past him. Well, fuck you, little man. You set off along the passage. You suddenly hear a cry of, mind how you go, come from behind you. You turn sharply to see who it was. I think I already know who it was. You wake with a start. Oh my god, it was all a fucking dream? Oh, Steve Jackson, what are you doing, dude? Alright. What was it you just experienced? Was what you just experienced a memory from past life, a vision from the future, have yet to live, or was it all some fantastical dream? Return your skill, stamina, and luck scores to the recorded values on your adventure sheet. Well, that means my luck is back at 11. Anything you collected while exploring underground has also gone. Whatever. But strangely, you check your money bag. Any money you found during your dream has somehow appeared inside your purse and you can keep it. I didn't find any money, but I get 2 luck. Alright. So my luck is at 13. 427. That's just dumb. But whatever. Okay, 211. Outside the cave, dusk is falling and the shadows are thickening between the trees. As you are wondering which way to go, your ears prick up in the far distance. You hear a high-pitched screeching sound. Something wicked this way comes, says a voice at your feet. It's the little man again. He has followed you out of the cave. The sound is getting closer. You look up at the darkening sky, peering into the night in the hope that you might catch sight of whatever is making the noise. It must be some kind of animal. What is coming? You turn to ask your strange companion. But he has vanished. Of course he has. The sound is getting very loud now. It is more like a screaming than a screeching, and you cover your ears against the terrible din. You are filled with a dreadful fear, and not really knowing what you are doing, start to run. The trees press in on you from every side, while the noise is so loud now, it's as if the whole sky is screaming. And then, in the darkness, you hit your head on a low branch. Of course I do. 475. You open your eyes slowly. Your head is aching. The bright sunlight isn't helping. Bright sunlight? But night was falling just a moment ago. What is going on? Where are you? Anyone know this passenger? Comes a voice from nearby. That was a nasty crack on the head. Thank the gods you're all right. Shame the same can't be said for your backpack. You feel the splash of water on your face, and your vision comes into focus at last. You're in a longboat and one of several passengers by the looks of things. It wasn't a branch that hit you on the head. It was one of the oars. Lose 1 stamina point. Oh, fuck you. 15. All right. You've been dreaming. As your vision clears, so does your mind, and suddenly you know where you are. Your journey began 12 days ago. You left home, having saved enough to pay for the voyage eastward to the fabled kingdom of Salamonis. This was a journey first by camel-drawn caravan across the Windward Plain, and then aboard a fleet of cargo-bearing longboats moored on the Whitewater River. Perhaps it was a little foolhardy travelling alone at your age. Indeed, you were almost tempted to turn back. On the 7th day, as you left the plains and boarded one of the boats, in the confusion, your backpack and all its contents were lost, or perhaps stolen. You may never know the truth. But you hold out a faint hope that you will be reunited with your backpack and its contents once again. Perhaps it will turn up in Salamonis. The pack contains some personal items of sentimental value, in particular your favourite book, Longbeard's Legends of the Windward Plains. There was also a short sword given to you by your grandfather, a change of underwear, your mother insisted, a few personal mementos, and all of the money that you had in the world. Additionally, it wasn't a lot. Admittedly, it wasn't a lot. But now you are penniless. Your only remaining possessions are the clothes you are wearing, and you have nothing to eat for 3 days. Your mother would weep to see you in such a state. But you are determined to reach your destination. After all, your father was firm that you should get yourself an education, and the city is famed throughout the world as a centre of learning. You were enchanted long ago by tales of Salamonis and its great riches, which your beloved Uncle Bunkle would read to you from Longbeard's book. But since the book has disappeared with your beloved backpack, all you have left is your memories of these wonderful stories. Of course, you knew each tale from start to finish. The heroes, the creatures, the treasures, and the dangers. But you wanted to see the places described within them for yourself, to follow your dreams. For you, there was no turning back. 27. It is mid-afternoon when you finally arrive at Whitewater Landing, Salamonis' west port. As the longboat slows and prepares to dock, the quay becomes a hive of activity. Miscellaneous wharf rats appear from nowhere to attend to the boats. Ragged porters bustle about on the gangplanks, offering to carry luggage into town, mend leaks, or swab the decks. The stevedores are an unkempt lot, generally wearing well-used clothing and worn-out sandals. They busy themselves trying to find some way of making a few coins from the new arrivals. Enough to feed themselves, or more likely, enough to drown their sorrows at the nearest inn. Those who are not capable of physical work become beggars. Indeed, beggars on makeshift crutches are all around the docks. They are infuriatingly persistent, hopping awkwardly alongside their victims with non-stop jabber and pleading like a swarm of stingflies. They have learned that if some victims are reluctant and do not make a donation straight away, just annoying them will usually get the same result in the end. You have no luggage, so you are grateful you do not have to deal with porters. You disembark with a longboat along with your fellow travellers, a flatlands barbarian by the name of Nanok, and a rotund herbalist who goes by the name Healing Hans. No sooner are you standing on the quayside than a middle-aged man wearing a voluminous robe hurries over to you. Would you be interested in a map of Salamonis? He asks. No visitor to our fine city should be without one. They are only one salacoin each, after all. You explain that you lost your backpack on the way here and have no money to buy anything. How unfortunate, the man says, looking you up and down. You have an honest face, and let it be said that Rusnik Olsen, and never let it be said that Rusnik Olsen abandoned anyone in need. I mean, what sort of welcome would that be to the great city, or the greatest city in all Alancia? So on this occasion, my information comes free. A little local knowledge could prove invaluable. So what do you ask the man about Salamonis? Is it true the streets are paved with gold? Where can someone in the near to the city find work? What coinage? Who's in charge? Okay. This is interesting. So initially I came to get an education as per my father's wishes, but I have no money, so I probably need work. So I'm going to ask, where can someone find work? 97. I would suggest you visit the Adventurers Guild as soon as possible. The Guildmaster is a retired adventurer himself. He posts up any jobs that are going on a board outside the front entrance. However, you'll want to make sure you keep away from the King's tax collector, Odious Pinchpenny. He has a habit of taking a little extra for his own operating costs. Where will I find him, you ask? Don't worry, my friends. Resnick says with a chuckle, he'll find you. Odious Pinchpenny. Okay, well, let's ask about the Centres of Learning, 158. Well, Salamonis is renowned throughout all Alancia for its ancient and extensive library, and of course, a few leagues from here, in the Forest of Yore, Vermithrax Moonchaser has his school of magic, but I don't think he's taking on any new apprentices at present. If it's some basic magic you're after, I could teach you spelling. No, not that sort of spelling, as in magic spells. But if it's your combat skills you're looking to improve, there's no better way than to learn on the job with the strong arms, providing protection for one of the merchant caravans across the plains. Then again, there are rumours of the training grounds or testing grounds. I'm not sure which in the Forest of Spiders away to the north, but I wouldn't know about that. 323. Oh dear, says Rosnick, sounding disappointed. It seems you do not have a knack for spelling after all. Oh wait, that's 333. I want 323. Uh-huh. At that moment, an elderly nobleman, a noble woman and her entourage disembark from a fine bark on the quayside. Having an eye for a heavy tipper, Rosnick bids you good luck and farewell and bustles off to see if he can be of assistance to the noblewoman, waving a handful of maps to attract her attention. It's probably wise to leave the Whitewater landing area as soon as possible, but you are still curious about the docks and the people who make a living here. A makeshift marketplace has sprung up, and traders are bawling their wares to their customers. But what good is a market if you do not have any money? I don't have a city map, so I go to 454. You have two choices. You can either head into the city or explore the docks, hoping to find some money, legal or otherwise. Interesting choice. I'm going to stick around the docks. I think that's my best chance of getting some money, actually. So we'll go to 45. As you soon learn, this area is actually called the Boondocks, since the goods and visitors that arrive here are considered a boon to the city. There are all manner of hawkers peddling goods and costermongers pushing their handcarts before them crying, bread, fish, meat pies. Suddenly you catch sight of a young urchin pushing his way through the crowd with a large backpack slung across his shoulders. Hang on, that's your backpack. You shout for the boy to stop, but he instead takes off into the mass of peddlers and their customers who are crowding the quayside. You set off in pursuit, but lose him in the throng, only to run slap bang into a pair of burly guards wearing helmets and breastplates bearing the arms of the Port Authority. Oi! Snaps the louder of the two. Look where you're going! Now's your chance. If you want to, you could try reporting the loss of your backpack to the guards. If you want to apologise and get out of the way as quickly as possible. Yeah, I'm not... These guys sound like fucking knob jockeys. I'm not going to apologise to them. One day those bully boys will get what's coming to them, comes a gruff voice from behind you. You turn to see one of your companions from the longboat standing there. It is Nanook the Barbarian. They wouldn't treat a strong arm like that, that's for sure. There is no doubting Nanook's profession. With a powerful physique and short temper, this mountain of a man strikes an imposing figure on the dockside, but his presence makes you feel slightly less anxious. You're sure if you could tag along with him, you wouldn't run into any more trouble, and so you start to make small talk with the barbarian, asking him whether he is pleased to be in Salamonis. Pardon me. For the last 5 years I've worked as a strong arm and risen to the rank of captain, he tells you. My travels have taken me to the four corners of Alancia. When I was younger, I enjoyed the excitement of new sights, new places, new people, but now I just want an easy life. I have seen little of my wife, Tabitha. It's time to settle down, perhaps start a family. Salamonis is my home. I promised Tabitha that after the last job, I wouldn't take on any more strong arm work. You're just starting out in the world, and the barbarian is looking to retire. Which way are you headed, he asks. If you're looking for adventure, you'll be wanting the Adventurers Guild. You know what? I'm looking for adventure. Why the fuck not, eh? 390. I'll walk with you, says Nanook, and the two of you set off together into town, heading off in the direction of the Sunrise Gate and leaving the hustle and bustle of the boondocks behind. As you walk, you ask the barbarian what life is like as a strong arm. He tells you that it was his job to keep convoys safe from marauding orcs and goblins. The longboat you arrived on was carrying miscellaneous sacks of cargo, including fine cloth and exotic foodstuffs. The hired strong arms were there to take on any pirates the boat might have encountered during the journey, using the bows, arrows, and swords to repel the attack. And that is what it means to be a strong arm, Nanook says. Keep the cargo safe, whatever the danger. You should bear in mind if you ever find yourself short of money. Luckily, you have no unwelcome encounters during your journey to Salamonis. There was nothing for the guards to do besides tell stories, drink and gamble. And it is the drinking and gambling that are often the ruination of the strong arms, not marauding orcs and goblins. They will either have gambled away their entire wages before they get home, leaving nothing for their families, or they'll drink it. Alright, I'll drink it. Leaving nothing, or they'll drink it away on their first night. Such is the life of a strong arm. Aha, there she is. Nanook suddenly declares, pointing. Tabitha, over here. His wife walks to him through the crowds, as does a young boy holding her hand. In tears, she runs to Nanook and hugs him. Nanook embraces her in return, holding her in his powerful arms. And who is this young soldier, he asks, fixing the youngster with a quizzical look. Whose boy is this? Why, this is Ben Boy, replies Tabitha, your son. Nanook kneels down to face the boy. Hello, son, he says. I am pleased to meet you, Da, says the child. I don't know why he talks like that, but he does. With one hand round his wife's waist and holding his son's hand in the other, Nanook bids you farewell and sets off for home. As you go your separate ways, you hear Nanook ask, How old are you, Ben Boy? 4, comes the child's innocent reply. Did you hear that, Tabitha? The barbarian laughs. The boy can count. I've been away for 5 years, but he thinks he's 4. Oh my God. I get one Aminal point. Oh, this bitch fucked another guy. Oh my God, that's not cool, buddy. Nanook the barbarian got cuckolded. Travelling eastward along the Grand Parade, you pass a number of groups of locals engrossed in their own conversations. As you pass them, you offer a friendly smile, but most ignore you. Story of my fucking life. Those who do acknowledge you give you an unwelcoming scowl in return. Like I said, story of my fucking life. The Grand Parade, which is also known as the Golden Way, is a magnificent avenue as befits a wealthy kingdom. Golden Way is the main road through the centre of the city. It is cobbled and lined with statues of the grand elders of Salamonis, past and present. The shops you see lining the road here sell luxury items such as exotic cooking spices and beautiful ladies' gowns. I'm a lady. I do lady things and shit. But the most wonderful feature is not even apparent. In fact, it is what makes it so special. Whilst lesser towns consider an open sewer cleansed by rain's water to be quite an achievement beyond the dig and bury home latrine, the sewer in Salamonis is totally hidden away underground. No splashing, no unpleasant smells, no unfortunate accidents resulting in someone falling into an active sewer. On top of that, the sewer is large enough for a man to stand up in, which could prove of military use in an emergency. The most ingenious idea by King Salamon, the LVII, whatever the fuck that is in Roman numerals, Rocky 4 meets Rocky 2, Rocky 7, Adrian's Revenge. Out of the corner of your eye, you catch sight of a gaunt-looking figure hobbling away in a side street, but what has attracted your attention is the fact that he's carrying a backpack that looks similar to yours. There must be many adventures in a place like Salamonis, all carrying their own packs. But if there is a chance it could be yours, surely you have to investigate. If you want to set down the side street or keep going, no, I'm going to follow this prick that might have my ship. You turn off the Golden Way into the shaded side street. It does not take long for the man to realise he's being followed, and despite his limp, he starts to quicken his step and disappears around the corner ahead of you before you can catch up with him. Reaching the entrance to the twisting alleyway, you see neither hide nor hair of the man, and so set off at a run, hoping to catch up with him around the next corner. It is as you are picking up the pace that you trip, your foot catching on a cobblestone, you are sent sprawling in the dirt and graze your knees and bang your elbows. Lose 2 stamina. I am from 15 to 13. Picking yourself up, you hobble along the alleyway but see no signs of the man with the backpack. Seeing as how you have no other choice, you return to the main thoroughfare. Okay. 54. The Grand Parade leads all the way to the Royal Palace, but before it gets there, it opens out into a square packed with stalls which are shutting up for the day. This is Salamonis' famous bazaar. Surrounding the square are inns and shops and a rather dilapidated building that looks like a cross between a temple and a tavern. Above the door hangs a sign in the shape of a shield bisected by a sword. It must be the Adventurers Guild. The sun is sinking behind the rooftops to the west, casting long shadows across the market square. There is a board outside the guild house displaying the jobs that are currently available. However, in large red letters at the bottom of the board are the words, "Only open to guild members. Adventurers, permit 2 gold pieces." Clearly, if you want to become an adventurer in Salamonis, it's going to cost you. The heavy iron-bound door to the guild house is closed, and by the orange glow of the setting sun, you see that a sign has been hung on the door that reads, "Closed, come back tomorrow." You try the door, but it is locked and bolted from the inside. Banging on the door doesn't seem to do any good either. Can't you read? You turn to see one of the stall makers who is packing up for the day, addressing you. You tell him that you've travelled from your home to Salamonis with the intention of making your way in the world as an adventurer. "Ah, that explains it," mutters the man, although you're not quite sure what it explains. "Look, you can't just rock up here and call yourself an adventurer. You have to join the guild first, but that'll cost you. If it's a job you're after, Pig Boy Snouter's always hiring at the Slime and Swine Guttery. You'll find his place outside the west gate. You thank the man for his advice and decide what to do." Okay. Slime and Swine, explore the docks, ask the storeholder if he's hiring a present. I'm just going to go to the Slime and Swine because this is just getting fucking stupid now. You follow the path northwest from the port in the direction of Westgate. Along the way, you check passers-by that you're heading in the right direction, but why does everyone laugh when they hear you're going to Snouters? Well, I mean, it could be the fantasy equivalent of Hooters, but they're just pigs with tits? I don't fucking know. When the wind changes direction, you realise why. The stench is absolutely horrendous. The guttery itself is little more than a ramshackle hut buzzing with flies. As soon as you set eyes on the owner, you understand why he's called Pig Boy Snouter, and has nothing to do with the fact that he deals with pig guts. He looks like one. "You looking for work?" Snouter calls to you. He's wearing a filthy apron that is smeared with blood and much worse. "How did you know?" you ask derisively. Snouter laughs. It's the only reason anyone comes around here, otherwise we have to go to them. Do you want to tell Snouter you're looking for work, or you think it would be wise? "I'm looking for work, you piggy-faced motherfucker." You follow Snouter inside the hut, wondering how long you can hold your breath for. This is where Snouter and his younger brother Jowler undertake what is surely the most disgusting job in all of Salamonis. They process the rotting guts of dead pigs, fish, and other odorously decaying animals. Clearly, Snouter's hygiene is lax, and for some, such work is too much to bear. They get physically sick on the job, which only adds to the stench. It's said that both Snouter and Jowler can only run the business because they have no sense of smell whatsoever. However, the guttery has a reputation for producing the finest rotten entrails in Alancia. Once suitably decomposed, the guttery's products are exported, mainly to Shazar, where the acidic slime is considered a rare delicacy, forming the basis of a piquant gravy known as lamoy. Look, Snouter admits, I know it isn't a glamorous job. Some people can't stand it for longer than a couple of hours, but just stick it out and it'll pay well for a fair day's work. And it's tax-free, he says. After all, a hog may have habits that disgust, but who would turn his nose at the meat? If you can put up with the stink for a few hours, seems like a good way to make a decent wage. 5 salacoins for a day's labour. So you shake Snouter's hand and set to work. You are given the job of separating fish guts from swine fat. The stench is overwhelming. All right, let's roll a die. 1 to 4, 1 to 3, 4 to 5. Okay. 4 to 6, sorry. 192. It is not long before the stink makes you gag. Will your nose and your stomach be strong enough to last a day of this nasal torture? Deduct 2 stamina points, and if you rolled a 6, well, I didn't. I rolled a 4. Do you want to stick it out? Yeah. 215. Fuck it. You stick it out all day and suffer no more ill effects. As they say, that which doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Snouter appreciates your help and at the end of the day hands over 5 salacoins. Record 5 salacoins on your adventure sheet and 2 Amanor points. Alright, so I'll put it as an S, and I'm now up to 3 Amanor points. He also offers you another day's work, but you've had enough. I understand, he says, but you've done a good job. Perhaps I can tempt you with another offer. I'll give you 2 salacoins for each new worker you recruit. I've just had a big order from Shazar. If I don't get more workers, I'm going to have to turn the order down. It's a no-lose situation. If you come across a section with a pig head symbol next to it, you can roll a die. On a 4 to 6, you recruit the worker. Alright, so let's just put pig's head 4 to 6 recruit. Okay. 415. Leaving the guttery, you head back to town, hoping you can leave the foul stench of the place behind you. If you have the beggar's mark, I don't. So I go to 188. The sun is lower in the sky. The day is wasting away. Do you want to return to the docks and look around, or do you want to make your way to the Adventurers Guild? I don't have enough gold for the Adventurers Guild, so I'm going to go back to the docks. I need 2 gold, and 10 of those coins is worth 1 gold. Okay, sorry for that little delay there. We don't want to go back to the Adventurers Guild. We want to go back to the docks. So we go to 45. And we've been here before. As you soon learn, this area is called the Boondocks. Since the goods and visitors arrive here are considered a boon for the city. The same guards talking about the backpack. Let's try reporting it this time, because we ignored it last time. 337. Sirs, you say, during my voyage I lost my backpack and everything in it. Who should I report this to? Anyone you want, says the shorter of the 2 guards. It won't matter. No one will take any notice. And if they do find your backpack, they'll most likely keep it for themselves. Ha ha. Now move along, says the taller guard, giving you a shove. You lose your balance, fall to the ground, grazing your knee, loses stamina. What a prick. Alright. However, now that you're close to the ground, you catch sight of a trinket that someone must have dropped. You're not sure if it's worth anything or if it's only of sentimental value, but you decide to keep hold of it and pop it in your pocket just in case, either with a mind to returning it to the owner in due course or selling it to a peddler yourself to raise some much needed cash. Okay, so I have a trinket. The boondocks are populated by all manner of shady-looking characters and animals too. Packs of hungry dogs and feral cats roam the area in search of scraps of meat. Suddenly a fight breaks out amongst the feral animals. A high-pitched screech rises and ends when a dog, clearly in pain, limps away from the fight, not far from where you're sitting. You swear the animal issued a curse as it ran away, but no, you must have been mistaken. Dogs can't talk, can they? 367. Okay, so we are back with Nanoc the Barbarian for some fucking reason. Although we left him with his wife. So we'll go to 410. That's kind of odd. You find a vantage point which gives you an unobstructed view of the boondocks. Squabbles are taking place between the porters. Now the work is almost done. Watching from a distance, you spy a youngster trying to pick the pocket of one of the new arrivals, but he fumbles the job. The visitor grabs him by the wrist and pulls him in. He whips out a knife and holds it to the boy's throat. In a panic, a man, whom you imagine is the boy's father, arrives. He apologizes profusely for his son's misdemeanor and persuades the visitor to release him. Presumably, he is promising that the boy will be suitably punished. Reluctantly, the angry victim agrees. He doesn't want to spend the rest of the day at the guardhouse, and so the situation diffuses. Elsewhere, you see three one-legged beggars engaged in a serious argument. They are hopping about, screaming at each other, using their crutches as makeshift clubs with which to bash their fellows. You can only imagine what they are arguing about. Keeping their balance soon becomes an issue, and is not long before all the men are sitting on the ground, exhausted, their argument forgotten. But witnessing the squabble gives you an idea. Do you want to try begging for money? I'm not begging for money. Come on. 89. An imposing and insurmountable stone wall surrounds the city, which has done a good job of keeping aggressors out in the past. You head away from the docks, through the imposing Gate of the Moon, and into the Grand Palace. As you pass the gate, your jaw drops and you gasp. The port area felt wild and dangerous, not quite what you're expecting from the stories you've been told about Salamonis. But once within the gate, the city's fine architecture is awe-inspiring. If you have a trinket, I do have a trinket. 229. A bit further along the Grand Parade, you notice a mangy dog sitting in the gutter, scratching its haunches and licking itself. You recognise it as the dog you saw running from the docks, having been savaged by a cat. The scratching has caused an old wound to reopen, and the poor thing is evidently in pain. Hey, mate. You turn around to determine where the voice came from, but not one of the other people making their way into the city is even looking at you, never mind trying to make conversation. Ruff, ruff, it's me, comes the voice again. Here, right in front of you. Haven't you ever come across a talking dog before? You are astonished to discover it is actually the dog that is speaking to you. Well now, how about this one? Woof woof. I may look like a dog, but I'm not. You won't get me to fetch, so don't bother trying. Pointless if you ask me. Neither do I gnaw on pig bones for hours. Too hard on the teeth at my age. Meat and ale for me, if you please, but I can talk. Do I want to talk to the dog or not? Well, I definitely want to talk to the dog because that's fucking hilarious. 249. You have so many questions you hardly know where to start. What species of dog is it? That it can speak? Or is it a victim of cruel sorcery? My brother once insulted a curse witch, the dog explains. Told her she was blind as well as ugly, so she cursed him. Well, duh, it's a curse witch. That's what curse witches do, curse people. Only trouble is, he was right. Her eyesight was poor, she couldn't see which one of us to curse. She guessed wrong. Now he's fine and I'm trapped in a dog's body. So what do you do? Can you have the curse removed, you asked? Oh yeah, just need to build up some Salamonis, some herbs, and find a curse witch who can remove the curse. Then bring in my brother and transfer the curse to him. It's either that or I've got to somehow capture the breath of the one who cursed me, but I don't think that's very likely, do you? So I'm looking for my good-for-nothing brother. He doesn't want to be a dog, so he's keeping well away. You sympathise with the dog even though you're not sure what you can do to help. You're not sure what you can do to help it become a man again. Buy a drink for me, would you? The curse has given me a terrible thirst. We could share a flagon of ale if you like. You explain that you've lost your backpack, everything that was in it, including your money bag. In the same boat, eh? Then how about you and I do a little hustle? It's easy when people think you're a dog. It's kept me in ale and meat for the past couple of years. That's for sure. Look, here comes a mother with two bratty girls. Perfect. Here's what we'll do. I'll pretend I'm rabid and frighten them. You come along and save them and pocket the reward. Come on. Okay, so basically a talking dog wants me to hustle a woman with two young children. It's going to pretend to be rabid, and I'm supposed to come along and save them and then get the reward money. Fuck yes, of course. 269. You decide to go along with the dog's plan because, as the old saying goes, even a mangy dog can be man's best friend. Wait, what's your name, you ask? Dog name or human name? Dog, you say with a smile. Dog. And what's yours? Well, if you're called Dog, then I'm a human called Human. Oh, my. Oh, Steve Jackson. Come on, dude. What are you doing with this shit? Fuck me. All right. Dog the bounty hunter. I am the dog, the big bad dog. Dog the dog hides around the corner of a building and limbers up while he's waiting for the womenfolk to draw closer. Then, right on cue, as they come within a few meters of his hiding place, he leaps out on the street, his lips drawing back in a terrible snarl. He starts barking and the girls start screaming. It's at this point you rush in and, positioning yourself between Dog and the womenfolk, pretend to kick the savage animal. However, your acting is not as good as Dog's, and you land the blow. Dog yelps in pain and scampers off around the corner, his tail between his legs. You turn to the startled mother. Are you all right? You ask in all seriousness. Evidently shaken by the encounter, the three victims of your scam are all sobbing. Finding their breath again, they heap their thanks and praise on you. Who knows if we would have survived if you hadn't been there to save us, says the mother. We can't thank you enough. Gratitude is all well and good, but you're not hearing the particular words you've been hoping for. Reward, tip, Salacoin. Anything like that. Do I want to drop a more obvious hint? Tell them about my lost backpack? Or walk away ashamed? You know what? I'm going to tell them about my backpack. I want that backpack back. Come on. With still no obvious reward forthcoming, you tell the mother how you lost all your possessions as you transferred from the caravan to the longboats. She is extremely sympathetic, but she still has nothing to offer. My name is Jelena Valesto, she says, and I know people in high places in Salamonis. Perhaps sometime in the future we may bump into each other again and I can help you then. She promises to keep a lookout for your backpack, but surely the chances of her coming across it are extremely small. Juliana and her daughters go on their way, and when out of sight, Dog emerges from his hiding place. Ay, 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 he says, nursing his... Oh, wait, I can do that better. Ay, 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 he says, nursing his ribs. You didn't have to kick me so... you didn't have to make it look so realistic, you know. And we've nothing to show for it. You apologise and suggest trying again. What, and get another kicking for my pains? No, I think it's time we went our separate ways, he says, and limps off into the back streets of the city. Lose 2 luck, but gain 2 Amanor points. All right. I lose a luck, putting me down to 9. But my Amanor is now at 5. And I go to page 99. Okay, travelling eastward along the Grand Parade, you pass a number of groups of locals engrossed in their own conversations. As you pass them, you offer a friendly smile, but most ignore you. Those that do acknowledge you give you an unwelcoming scowl in return. The Grand Parade, which is also known as the Golden Way, is a magnificent avenue as befits such a wealthy kingdom. Golden Way is the main road through the centre of the city. It is cobbled and lined with statues of the grand elders of Salamonis, past and present. The shops you see lining the road sell luxury items such as exotic cooking spices and beautiful ladies' gowns. We've already been here before, so I'm going to skip all this shit. The thief with the backpack is running away, so we go to 54, because I'm not chasing him again. It didn't do any good last time. The Grand Parade leads all the way to the Royal Palace, but before it gets there, it opens into a square packed with stalls that are shutting up for the day. This is Salamonis' famous bazaar. Okay, we've been here before as well. We went to the slime and guttery. We've been to the docks. Let's ask if he's hiring. You need a permit from the Tradesmen's Guild to work in the bazaar. The man tells you. If you got one of those, you shake your head, didn't think so. You walk away disconsolately. It feels like you need a permit to do anything in Salamonis, but permits cost money and your life savings were in your backpack among all your worldly possessions. What's the matter, friend? The voice belongs to a lean man dressed in fine clothes that have nonetheless seen better days. He has a curling moustache on his top lip and a goatee on his chin and a twinkle in his eye. 194. That's 196. I want 194. You look like an honourable chap, he says, putting his arm around his shoulders. I mean, you've got an honest face. I'm surprised to see someone like you in an impunctious state. You don't realise that you were in an impunctious state. You thought the Salamonis was a kingdom. You need to earn some salacoins. Then Rodriguez is your man. But why work for a living when you can grift? Grifting is far easier. You don't have to take insults or deal with angry men. What's grifting, you ask? Oh, come on, dude. This whole book is just fucking grifting. Sounds a bit dodgy. It's only dodgy if you get caught, Rodriguez replies, lowering his voice, and I never get caught. The two of you sit down on a bench nearby and Rodriguez tells you what he has in mind. We'll start at the nearest inn, right? Inns mean ale, and ale means marks. Marks are what we're looking for. People who have had a skinful already, who are not as alert as they were earlier in the day, and we're going to use them to entertain the whole inn. If you want to go along with it, if you would... I'm going to go along with it because, quite frankly, this whole thing is just fucking boring. The inn is just around the corner, says Rodriguez. As you make the turn into Half-Darn Lane, you can hear a raucous crowd chattering and laughing a short distance ahead. You squint to read the sign hanging outside the inn. What's this, you snort? The Half-Darned Sock? What kind of a name is that for an inn? And why only half-darned? Yes, replies Rodriguez. There's history behind this particular hostelry. It's the oldest one in Salamonis. However, our present need is cash, and a drunken crowd like this is likely to grift from. As you open the heavy wooden door and enter the inn, the noise from inside is deafening. The place is heaving. It's as though you suddenly came across a fighting bear pit mid-bout. You can hardly hear yourself think. It seems something special arrived with the longboats and now everyone is celebrating. It's always like this after the longboats arrived, Rodriguez yells over the noise. The sailors take their wages and go straight off to the nearest inn. Often they drink or gamble away their lot in a few hours. to the despair of their wives and children. By the entrance, a heated argument has broken out between a staggering half-elf and a woozy sailor. The dispute has progressed from harsh words to pushing and shoving, and is all about who is entitled to sit on a wooden stool that has become vacant. But now the two of them have progressed to fisticuffs, and their jostling is starting to annoy the customers. A shrill whistle pierces the air. Almost immediately, a burly strong arm appears to break up the fight. He picks up both miscreants by their collars and throws them out into the street. They look at each other quizzically. What right did this strong arm have to manhandle them, and so roughly? The pair curse him and vow they will get their own back on the barbarian. But they have completely forgotten what their argument was all about. The sailor offers to buy the half-elf a mug of ale. The two re-enter the inn, smiling now and with their arms around each other's shoulders. Quite a few sailors will be going home to their wives empty-handed, Rodriguez says, and that's where we come in. They're going to spend all their sailor coins on drinking or gambling away. We just need to make sure some of it comes our way. Here, let me buy you an ale and I'll explain what we're going to be doing. You find a table and I'll get the drinks in. As you squeeze through the crowd looking for somewhere to sit, you notice a coin on the floor. Do I pick it up or ignore it? As nothing has happened this entire fucking game, I'm going to pick it up. $2.46. It's a silver sailor coin. No one appears to be looking for it, so what do? Keep it for myself. You pocket the sailor coin, but as you do, you notice that the king's face has been scratched with a knife, so it looks like he has a scar on its cheek. Okay, S-C-R-A-T-C-H, scratched sailor coin. Turn to 316. You find a couple of seats in a quieter part of the inn, and Rodriguez joins you there a few minutes later. He's carrying 2 mugs of spicy hobgoblin mead. You don't know whether he actually paid for them or whether he scammed the landlord. You take a sip of the drink and ask him what he has in mind. Well, he begins, I have a cheeky little grift which should get us a few free drinks and maybe even a room for the night. It's a card trick. He gets up from his seat. Come on, follow me. I'm going to follow him because he's the only person in this whole book that's fucking doing something. You follow Rodriguez to the bar where he immediately starts to address the landlord. I'm going to show you a trick which, quite honestly, astonishes me every time I do it. I kid you not. You're going to pick 2 cards, and with a little magic, I'll tell you what they are without ever seeing them. Hopefully you'll find it entertaining enough to let me have a room for the night. The landlord is intrigued. Come on then, he says. Let's see what you got. Rodriguez lays a pack of cards on top of the bar. So here we go. This is a pack of cards numbered 1 to 9 in 4 suits. I'm going to shuffle them. He riffles the deck like a professional card sharp. And now pick a card, any card, and show it to everyone. The landlord picks a card from the shuffled deck, reveals it to the crowd of onlookers that is gathering by the bar. It's a 6. He then places it face down on the counter. So how are you at sums, Rodriguez asked. Considering your line of work, I expect you're pretty good, or you would have gone out of business by now. The onlookers, the regulars in particular, laugh at hearing the line. Remember the number on your card, Rodriguez tells the landlord. Double it. Add 5 and multiply the number now by multiply the number you now have by 5. You got it? The landlord confirms he has. Now I want you to choose another card. He does so. And add this number to the total you've already got in your head and tell me the final total. 89, announces the landlord. Then your 2 cards were, are you ready for this? The crowd are on tenterhooks and a hush has descended. A 6 and a 4. The landlord looks astonished. He turns over the 2 cards. Gasps are heard from the bar. He indeed had chosen a 6 and a 4. True to his word, the landlord offers Rodriguez room for the night. Well, that's me sorted, the grifter says, a familiar sparkle in his eye. Do you want to give it a try? You were watching carefully, weren't you? If you want to find yourself a suitable mark and try the trick in exchange for money... okay, hold on. So, they're giving you the magic trick to do. The number on the card, double it, add 5, multiply the number by 5, and add... you know what? I mean, I'm playing a fantasy game book here and they want me to do fucking math? Fuck you. 376. You eventually get chatting to a motley-looking bunch of would-be adventurers. There's a young man wearing what would appear to be a hand-me-down leather breastplate, which is at least 2 sizes too big for him. A young woman dressed like a thief with her arm in a sling. A half-elf with a blood-soaked bandage wrapped around her head. And a dwarf using a crutch since he has clearly injured his leg somehow. What happened to you lot, you ask, amazed that there is someone having a worse day than you. Really? A worse day than me? I've been playing this fucking book and nothing has happened. How is their day worse? The younger man relates their tale of woe, telling you they were hired to rid King Salamonis' silver mine of pests, but ended up running afoul of a swarm of creatures that looked like undead flying piranhas and nearly drove them mad with their blood-curdling screams. Closing time comes, and the landlord starts to chase everybody out of the inn who hasn't paid for a room for the night. A single room costs 1 gold or 10. I don't have 10 coins. If you can afford it, I can't. I turn to 416. Then get out, the landlord roars. Hold on, let me do that again. Get out! The landlord roars and shows you the door. The sun has set, and any other inns will have shut by now as well, so you can see that you have little choice but to sleep rough. 456. You wake the following morning to find yourself in the gutter with a couple of rats curled up next to you, sharing your body's warmth. You shoo them away in disgust. You have a crick in your neck and do not feel ready for the day at all. Lose 1 stamina. Okay, I'm down to 9 stamina from 16. But it could have been worse. At least it's not winter. Ah, fuck you, book. 86. You might not have been in Salamonis long, but what you have learned is that anybody who wants to become an adventurer and take on officially listed quests has to become a member of the Adventurers Guild first. It's a new day and the bright morning sunlight fills you with renewed sense of optimism. You soon find your way to the Adventurers Guild on Market Square next to the bazaar. The building might be in need of a few repairs. There are tiles missing from the roof and a couple of broken window panes, but its pillared entrance and sturdy iron-bound oak door still speak of a faded grandeur. In some ways, it reminds you of a grizzled veteran adventurer. The guild is open for business, and as you approach the entrance, your eye is drawn to the quest board outside. Pinned to the bottom of the board is a curled-up parchment with 3 words written in neat calligraphic script. Found 1 backpack. Could it be your missing pack? I really... Oh, for fuck's sake. You enter the guild house at a run, your heart hammering in your chest. You find yourself in a large room that seems to be full of hard-bitten adventuring types. Flatlands barbarians, salty sea dogs from the Skull Coast, half-elves from the Forest of Yore, dwarves from Stonebridge, and even black-clad warriors swathed in those loose-fitting black robes from Chiangmere. Discussing everything from the price of throwing knives in Silverton to the whereabouts of a lost city in the Desert of Skulls and rumours of a war brewing between 2 rival sorcerers. You approach the counter at the far side. Standing behind it is an elderly gentleman with a warm smile and a twinkle in his eye. "And what can I do for you?" he asks. I saw you had a backpack handed in and thought it might be mine, you say. You proceed to tell him how you came to lose it in the first place. When you have finished your story, the guildmaster says, how do I know what you say is true? You could be a scammer trying to claim something that doesn't belong to you. Can you tell me what was in it? You rattle off the list of contents, a few personal mementos, a short sword, spare underwear. Did your mum write your name in them? The guildmaster laughs. Fuck you, you prick. Your money bag and a copy of Longbeard's Legends of the Windward Plains. Sounds like it could be yours, says the man. But are you prepared to put your money where your mouth is? You need to pay 1 gold if you want it released out of custody. I don't have a fucking gold, you idiot. This is outrageous. You have to pay to get your own pack back. But it doesn't seem like you have any choice. I don't have a gold. I've got 5, 6 of these stupid coins, but I don't have a gold. 107. Your quest to become an adventurer would seem to have been doomed from the start. Test your luck. I've got 9 luck. And I roll an 8. So I passed. 197. Seeing how upset you are, the guildmaster takes pity on you and hands you your pack. After all, I can't have it clattering up the place any longer, he says with feigned annoyance. You're delighted to be reunited with the canvas rucksack at last and unpack it there in the middle of the guild hall, just to make sure nothing has gone missing. Add the following items to your equipment. Okay, I get my short sword. Spare clothes. 12 gold. And Longbeard's Legends of the Windward Plain. Add 1 luck and 1 to my... Okay, so I'm up to 6 Aminor, and I get my luck back. If you want to join the Adventurers Guild, you need to talk to me, for I am Jeskin Stovek, the Guildmaster. He explains it will cost you 2 gold pieces, and that will give you an adventurer's permit, which means you can take on any jobs posted on the quest board outside the guild house. You can also use the permit to prove your credentials to any potential employer, such as a priestess wanting someone to find some magical fungi for her in the Moonstone Hills, or a merchant who's looking to hire guards for his caravan travelling in Chalice. But you look like you're new to this game, he says, giving a once-over. If I were you, I'd get some training before setting yourself up as a sword for hire. Without having to be asked twice, you hand over the money. So I'm down to 10 gold. And the Guildmaster writes a permit, deduct 2 gold and add adventurer's permit to the list. Okay. If you want to ask the Guildmaster for his advice regarding where to train, or if you'd rather set out straight away, I don't want to listen to this guy anymore. He's pissing me off. 389. So you think you're ready to embark on your first quest, do you? Says the Guildmaster. Well, I hope you're right. Today is Storm's Day, and dark clouds are gathering over the city. You wonder if it's a sign that dark forces are at work. Okay, so we mark Storm's Day. Since you first arrived in Salamonis, you have started to earn a reputation for yourself. This is represented by your Aminor score. Your experience has also toughened you and honed your skills. You have a pool of points equivalent to your current Aminor skill, which you need to share among your different attributes. For every 2 points of Aminor, you may increase the initial skill, stamina, or luck by 1. I have 6. Okay, I'm going to put my skill up to 12 and my initial luck up by 1, putting it at 10. You may increase the same attribute more than once. then increase your current score to the new maximum. Please note the skill and luck scores may not exceed 12, of course. When you are done distributing, turn to 120. All right, now we're getting somewhere. So what's it to be, the Guildmaster asks as you examine the quest board outside the guild. Take a look at the illustration opposite. On it you will see a list of available quests with a job number next to each one. To embark on a quest, turn to that section that is the same as the number that has been allocated to the job. Okay. Accompany, bring cardinals into justice, obtain the horn of the black unicorn. I like this 341, bring cardinals into justice. Bring cardinals into justice will be no mean feat, the Guildmaster says. Why, you ask? Who is Cardinal Zinn and what crime has he committed? The quest was posted anonymously, the veteran adventurer explains. So I do not know who wishes him to face Libra's justice. As to who he is, the Guildmaster lowers his voice and beckons you closer, going on in a conspiratorial manner. It is said that Cardinal Zinn is the head of the outlawed cult that goes by the name of the Sisters of the Brotherhood. Who the member of the cults are, or where they meet, nobody knows. Somebody must know, you put in. Otherwise, how do people know there is such a cult? But finding them won't be easy. They are believed to have cursed a number of prominent individuals, including a prince of the royal household, if the rumours are true. To what end, you ask? To sow chaos and discord, but it would be wrong of me to even let you attempt such a challenge if you're not up to it. My Aminor score is not 327. Wow, okay. So he's not going to let me do it. No, the task is for someone else to complete. The Guildmaster says, fuck me! Or maybe when you have gained some more experience. There's nothing you can say to make him change his mind, and so you'll choose another challenge. If you want to try and fulfill this quest later, you may select the option, but for now, go back to 120. I'll do pest control then, 165. You know about King Salamon's mine, don't you? The Guildmaster asks without waiting for a reply. It lies in the hills north of the city. Trouble is, when you start digging around underground, it's going to be a matter of time before you disturb something that would be better left alone. Do you know what sort of pests the miners are having trouble with? No idea. Could be anything from ratmen to rock grubs. Who knows? Mind you, if you're planning on heading underground yourself, it might be wise to visit the bazaar before you set off. If you want to head to the bazaar to equip yourself for the task, make a note of the number 273. If you'd rather set off, I'm going to go to the bazaar. I think 273. Go to 400. There are all manner of stalls set up in the bazaar, selling everything from astronomical instruments to zodiac readings. Looking around, you make a mental note of the items you think could prove most useful. Now that you're a full-blown member of the Adventurers Guild, you buy as many items as you have enough money to pay for. I'm going to buy rope, nose plugs, so that's 2, 3. I have how much gold left? 10 gold. And I'm going to buy basilisk skin boots. So that leaves me with no gold left. Let's try sell it. If you have nope. So 273. The mines do not lie too far from Salamonis in the hills that form the northern border of Trolltooth Pass. All approaches to the area are patrolled by the Salamonis soldiery, and your journey passes without incident. Sometime later, you find yourself approaching the mine entrance to King Salomon's mine. The place is busy with miners, including dwarves as well as humans, with carts being loaded with ore and rubble. You confidently stride up to the half-ogre, who appears to be in charge, and wave your adventurer's permit at him when he asks you what your business is here. You're here for pest control. You're here for the pest control job, eh? He asks. If you answer yes, well, I am, so yes, 313. That's a relief, the half-ogre replies. They've shut down production in the western galleries, and none of the miners want to work those sections while they're still down there. You ask the half-ogre foreman what they are. Didn't they tell you? Rock grubs, of course. But a brave adventurer like you will make short work of them. I'm sure. You just need to enter the tunnel there. He points to the entrance before you. Take the first left, then it's left again, and then the first right. Just bring back evidence of anything you dispose of, and you'll get paid 1 gold for each one. Well, let's enter the mine, because we need to do something, because this is boring as shit. The main tunnel into the silver mine is broad and tall and shored up with solid supports. It is very well made, and you feel safe as you head underground. You do not need a source of illumination either, since flickering lanterns are positioned at regular intervals, providing you with plenty of light to see where you're going. You pass miners pushing carts of ore before them, and you cannot have travelled more than 100 meters when the tunnel branches. You hear voices and sounds of pickaxes echoing from the right-hand tunnel, but nothing from the left. Well, he said left, left, right. That was what the ogre put before us. So let's go left, left, right. We'll go left to 109. As you proceed along the left-hand branch, it begins to slope downwards. Water drips from the ceiling to pool on the uneven rock floor of the tunnel. Rather than being lit by regularly spaced lanterns, burning torches illuminate the way onwards from here. Eventually, you reach another junction. Neither of the tunnels that continue from this point are lit. So you lift one of the torches from its wall bracket and hold aloft. As you are considering which way to go, you fancy you hear distant footsteps coming from the right-hand passage. Left, left, right. So we're going to turn left, 395. You descend further as the tunnel corkscrews down through solid rock until you finally arrive at a rough-hewn circular chamber. Leading off from it are two tunnels, but you notice that some strange markings have been chiseled into the rock above each tunnel entrance. The angular shape etched into the rock above the left-hand tunnel looks a bit like a skull. Above the right tunnel looks to be a set of jagged fangs. Left, left, right. 394. As you proceed further along the tunnel and head deeper underground, you notice that the walls appear less chiseled and more chewed. You are just wondering whether you should turn back when your flickering torchlight reflects from the polished shell of a huge grub-like head that is possessed of a massive pair of mandibles powerful enough to cut through solid rock. You have no choice but to draw your sword and defend. We have a rock grub, 7 skills, 11 stamina. 11, 9, 7, 5, 3, 1, 0. Okay. I am at 12 skill with my short sword. 20, 7, 11. 12. Okay. 16, 7, 14. 12, 17, 7, 14, all right. 12, 19, okay. 12, 16, 7, 15. Okay, that was close. 12. Okay. We defeated the rock grub. If you win, 161. Severing the rock grub's head from the rest of its disgusting body, you secure it in your backpack with a piece of twine before setting off. Back up the spiraling tunnel to the junction where you thought you heard footsteps echoing from the passageway to the right. Let's follow the footsteps. 182. You follow the sound of the footsteps along the tunnel, but without managing to catch up to whoever is making them. And then the tunnel branches once more, but you cannot hear any footsteps at all. Left or right? 1, 2, 3 left, 4, 5, 6 right. We go left. 241. As you hurry along the tunnel, you do not hear the footsteps again ahead of you, but as you enter a rough-hewn circular chamber, your torch illuminates something sitting on the ground. It looks like a ball of messy white fur, no bigger than a large cabbage. But at the moment, disturbed by the light, the thing shakes itself and stands up on 2 hairless feet, blinking its mismatched pink and orange eyes as it comes to. Suddenly, fully awake, the strange creature opens a huge mouth and gives voice to a booming howl that you would have associated with something much larger and more dangerous. The howl makes you jump, and as you are caught off guard, the jib-jib, for that is what it is, hurries off into the darkness. When it stops howling to take a breath, you hear the fleeing footsteps again. Do you want to set off after the jib-jib or quit? I'm going after this jib-jib. Why the fuck not? Scream at me, you little shit. You soon lose sight of the running jib-jib, and it has stopped howling, so you have no idea where it has gone. Go to 85. Eventually, the tunnel curves around and joins up with another, probably one from the other branch you didn't take. They become one tunnel again that soon ends abruptly on one side of a vast natural fissure in the rock. The crevasse is spanned by a rickety rope bridge. Holding your torch high, you can see that it links to another tunnel mouth on the other side. Standing on the other side of the bridge at the entrance to the tunnel, you can just make out a figure. It is a man. He has a disheveled appearance and hunched posture, and he appears to be shaking. Do I want to step out on the bridge or double back and follow the tunnel that brought you here? I'm going out on the bridge. You are about to step on the bridge when you see the flickering torchlight glint from the blade of a knife in the man's hand. "Stay away," he shouts as he takes the knife to one of the ropes holding up the bridge. You change your mind pretty quickly then, but you are not out of danger yet. An ear-splitting shrieking sound suddenly echoes from the one end of the crevasse. It's a horrible sound. it makes your heart race, your limbs start to shake. If you have some beeswax. I have nose plugs, not earplugs. I don't have beeswax, 134. The sound is like a cacophony of screams, but they are so loud and terrible and so inescapable that you feel your ears could start to bleed at any moment and that you will go mad if you have to listen to the discordant shrieking a moment longer. Deduct 1 from your skill and your initial skill. All right. So I'm down to 11. And then the source of the terrible shrieking appears. 175. Okay. Flying along the chasm towards you is a swarm of hideous creatures. At first glance, they appear to be fish with sharp piranha teeth, but they are carried through the cold cave air on ragged bat-like wings. What is even worse is that their eyes are milky white as if blind, and you see that their bones through torn patches of skin where the scales are missing. These are the shriekers that are feared by the people who live on the border of the Trolltooth Pass, for whenever the screaming starts, bloodshed and madness are sure to follow. Startled and terrified by the appearance of the foul undead horrors, you do not feel you can take them on, and so there is only one option left to you. You must flee. However, as you do so, the shriekers swoop in on their rotting wings and try to take chunks out of you with their viciously sharp teeth. Roll 4 dice. All right. I have a stamina of 9. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 18. If the total rolled is greater than your stamina score, which it is, 212. Fear drives you on, but the shriekers soon catch up with you nonetheless. Roll 1 die and add 2 to the number rolled. That was a 5. Add 2 is 7. Then deduct that from your total stamina score. I have 2 stamina left. If you are still alive, as soon as you reach the better-lit tunnels close to the entrance, the shriekers break off their attack and return to the darkness. But you don't stop running until you are back outside and bathed in sunlight. 2:14. You emerge from the mine once more, blinking in the bright sunlight that greets you. If you killed anything while you were underground and brought back its head or tail as proof, I did. I killed the rot grub. 233. The half-ogre foreman catches you and beckons you over. You've been busy, he says, smiling. He takes a purse of coins from his pocket and counts some of them in his palm. The foreman will pay you 1 gold piece for every head or tail you collected, which is 1. So I have 1 gold, and I gain 2 more Amana points, putting me at 8. Bidding the half-ogre farewell, and your purse a little heavier than it was when you arrived in King Salamon's mines, you make your return journey to Salamonis. You arrive at the north gate as dusk is falling over the city. Move the wheel of the week 1 day. So it is now, from Storm's Day, it is now Moon's Day. 383. It's time you got some much needed rest. If it is Fire's Day, it is not. 403. As you're a member of the Adventurers Guild, you have the right to rent a room for the night. Board and lodging will cost you 2 gold pieces. I don't have 2 gold pieces. Alternatively, you can take up a room in the inn, such as the Half-Done Sock, for 1 gold piece. All right, I'm going to go to the Half-Done Sock for 1 gold piece, and that will get me back 2 stamina points. when you have decided where you want to sleep. If it is Wednesday, if it is Seas Day, it is not, it is Moon's Day. So 4:27. Not long after dawn, with the sun rising in the sky, you set off for the Adventurers Guild, ready to take on another quest to help you raise your profile among the adventuring fraternity and the people of Salamonis. If you want to stop at the bazaar, no point. I don't have any gold. 120. Okay. So we are back here. Read. I'm going to go to 9. I'm going to rid the slime and swine guttery, I think, because I've worked there before. They should know me. This should be a straightforward job, the guildmaster says. Pig Boy Snouter wants someone to get rid of something he calls a ratapilla. It's made its home in one of his razorback sheds. He's willing to pay 3 gold to anyone that can deal with the vermin for him. Do you know the slime and swine? Of course I do. I fucking work there. 462. You follow your nose as much as your feet to the slime and swine guttery beyond the west gate of Salamonis. It smells just as bad as the last time you visited the place, but this time Pig Boy Snouter greets you with a curt nod. You're back then, he says. If you managed to recruit any workers, I didn't. Okay, 422. Jowler leads you through the stinking guttery to a shed on the other side of the filthy pig pens. It's in there, he says, pointing at the shadowed entrance of the barn. It's in there, this ratapilla, you ask? This place stinks to high heaven. That's what it looks like to me, Jowler says. Nasty looking thing with teeth to match. I'll leave you to it then, shall I? Without waiting for a reply, Jowler gets back to the business of processing pig guts with his brother, leaving you to enter the shed alone. The only sound is a buzzing of flies. A few dusty beams of sunlight enter the barn through holes in the roof, watching where you're putting your feet and doing your best not to breathe. Through your nose, you enter the shed with your sword drawn. If you have the spelling skill, I don't, so I'm going to test my luck. My luck is 10, which I pass with a 7. That puts me down to 9. 402. As your eyes become accustomed to the gloom, you make out the bones of a rib cage and a great tusked skull. These are the remains of razorbacks that were slaughtered at the guttery. Out of the corner of your eye, you suddenly notice movement and a horrible sucking sound as something rises from the mud behind you. 258. You spin around, almost losing your footing on the slippery ground, and lay your eyes on something truly hideous and dripping with mud. It looks like a massively overgrown maggot, but sporting huge rodent-like teeth. I don't have the world lore skill, so I'll go to 170. As you prepare to give the horror a taste of cold steel, it whips its grub-like head forward and spits a goblet of slime at you. Roll 2 dice. I got 11. That was a 6. If the number rolled is less than or equal to your skill, my skill is 11. 332. You swiftly sidestep, dodging out of the path of the flying slime ball. It hits the wall of the shed behind you, where it hisses as the acidic matter starts to eat its way through. Add 1 luck. I'm back up to 10 luck points. 262. Having acidic spit must be useful when you spend all day eating pig bones. Before the Ratapilla can ready another spitball, you move in for the kill. 7 skill, 6 stamina, the Ratapilla. Okay. I'm at 11 skill. It cannot win. So I deal the first blow. 12, 13, 14, 7, 13, 14, 15. It hits me, dealing 2 damage. I'm on 2 health. 11, 18. 11. Cannot win. And I kill the Ratapilla, but I'm down to 2 stamina. 2, 4, 3. I was victorious. The Ratapilla dead. You cut off its head and carry it across the pig yard to the guttery. Pig Boy and Jailer both recoil when they see what you are carrying, but true to their word, they pay you the agreed fee. 3 gold. Okay, so I'm up to 3 gold and 9 reputation. You're covered in mud yourself now and probably smell as bad as the slime swine guttery. You're grateful that your mother made you pack a spare set of clothes. Move the wheel of work week, so it now is fire day. And then turn to 383. It's time you got some much needed rest and recuperation. Is today fire day? It actually is 253. A pair of burly guardsmen wearing helmets and leather armor and carrying heavy clothes are walking towards you. If you have criminal, I don't. If you have wanted, I don't. They ignore me. 403. As you're a member of the guild, Adventurers Guild, you have the right to rent a room for the night. Board and lodging will 2 gold. I'm going to spend those 2 gold, putting me at 1, giving me 4 health back, putting me at 6. It's not Wednesday, it's not C Day. It is 4, so I'll get a 427. Rises. Want to stop at the bazaar? I don't. I'm going to go straight to the guild. I have 9. Done pest control. I've killed the Ratapilla. I can't do that one. Let's go to 88. Let's go to collect cauldron weed. Ah, yes. Collect cauldron weed for the witches of Dree, says the guildmaster. Well, that shouldn't prove too taxing, as long as you keep your wits about you and you know what you're looking for. Can you tell me where I'll find the cauldron weed the witches want, you ask? Oh, sure, that's the easy bit. It grows in Buffon Fen, an area of swampland next to Deedlewater, west of the witch village of Dree. The tricky part is going to be bringing it back, since the toadmen of the fen are protective of the plants and herbs that grow there. That's why the witches want someone to collect it for them. Mind you, they'll probably pay you a pretty penny if you can get it to them. If I were you, I'd pay a visit to the bazaar and equip yourself. After all, you never know when you might be glad of some nose plugs or a length of rope. I bought nose plugs and I bought a length of rope, so fuck you, dude. I'm going to set off straight away, 38. Leaving Salamonis, you head north across the windward plains to the village of the witch women and Buffon Fen. Some days later, you find the flat grassland giving way to taller reeds and ground becomes softer underfoot. You press on until the bulrushes tower over your head and you enter a muddy clearing. Two kinds of trails lead away from the clearing through the reed beds. One heads in a northeasterly direction while the other winds its way northwest. You can't help but notice the web footprints have been left in the mud along the northwesterly trail. Well, I'm following the footprints, so I'm going to go kill these froggy bastards. As you follow the trail, you get the uncomfortable feeling that you're being watched, and then you catch sight of a large pair of eyes blinking at you among the bulrushes. A moment later, they're gone, but your creeping sense of paranoia remains. Do I keep following the trail or go back? I keep following the trail. What are you talking about? 95. Strange croaking noises echo through the fens, and you put your hand to the hilt of your sword for reassurance. The ground is getting wetter underfoot, and you almost slip more than once as you make your way along the trail. You enter another muddy clearing, but other than the path you followed to reach this point, there is only one other path leading away to the north. I don't have the World Law special skill, so I'll go to 167. A booming croak, which sounds like a throaty belch, startles you. It sounds like whatever made the noise, it's close by. Not wanting to run into one of these toadmen of Boo Fon Fen, you pick up the pace and hurry across the muddy space between the reeds. Test your luck. My luck is 10. And I got a 7. Which I passed. 335. You press on through the fens until the trail opens as it reaches a riverbank. A profusion of brightly coloured plants grows beside the sluggish river, but which one of them is the herb known as cauldron weed? If you want to pick several branches of a plant with no flowers and ragged dark green leaves. Oh, shit. I don't even know what cauldron weed looks like. I'm going to go with the one that's adorned with the flowers. Fuck it. 405. You choose the tallest stems bearing the most flowers. As you pick them, they give off a heady aroma that makes you a little woozy. Add star flowers. Okay. And I gain a luck, which puts me back to 10. 268. Oh, here we go. Look at this throaty motherfucker. When you think you've picked enough, you stow the plant safely in your backpack and begin to retrace the route you took through the fens. You are considering picking some of the other plants just to be sure you got the right one when you are startled by a loud croaking noise and a large bulky shape leaps from the reeds and lands on the riverbank in front of you. It is as tall as you are, but its skin is warty and the colour of stone. Its misshapen head reminds you of an amphibian, and its hands and feet are webbed too. Oh, Admiral Akbar, it's a trap. The creature opens a cavernous mouth and belches out a deafening croak as it tightens its grip on the trident it is holding in both hands. You have no choice but to fight the Toad Man. Skill 9, Stamina 8. Okay, Toad Man. Skill 9, Stamina 8, 6, 4, 2, 0. Okay. Skill 11, 12, 13, 14, 20. Skill 9. All right. Skill 11, 12, 18, 9. What is an 18? Tie. Okay. Skill 20 to 9. Not even close. Skill Can't win. Skill 11. Can't win. Look at that. And I just took out the Toad Man. 428. Where there is one Toad Man, there are bound to be more, and so you set off at a jog through the marshes. But then the path splits unexpectedly before you. You don't remember coming this way. Which branch of the trail do you follow? 1, 2, 3 left, 4, 5, 6 right. Okay. Take the right branch, 295. Oh, all right. As you flee through the fens, your heart pounding and panting for breath. You do not slow your steps until you feel the ground become firmer underfoot once more, and the towering reeds give way to level grasslands of the Windward Plains. Eventually you reach a well-worn track and a signpost which directs you east towards Dree. You pass through the range of low hills and cross a rickety wooden bridge that spans a fast-flowing river until you eventually come to the village of the Witch Women. It is a truly vile place, its buildings ramshackle, its inhabitants a combination of grotesque parodies of life and the aged crones who call this gloomy place home. A foul miasma hangs over the place. No doubt the result of all the potion brewing that goes on here. The Witch Women keep a wary eye on you as you make your way to the village square, where you announce in a slightly unsteady voice that you have brought the cauldron weed they wanted. You bought the cauldron weed here? Asked one toothless hag, bent almost double with age. That's right, you say, and take the plants you collected from Bouffon Fen from your pack. Which plants did you pick? I picked the star flowers, 239. You fool, spits the wizened hag. This isn't cauldron weed, that's starfire. I've got some of that growing in my herb garden. You won't find a buyer for starfire in Dree. I doubt you'd even be able to sell it in the markets of Salamonis. Get out of here before I turn you into a toad. Deduct 1 umino point? Oh, fuck you, you old bitch. I did the best I could. If you want to draw your sword and teach this vile creature a lesson in manners, yes, I fucking do. Fuck you, you bitch. You never told me what cauldron weed looks like. Very well then, snarls the hag. If that's how you want it, so be it. She reaches into a sleeve of her ragged robe and pulls out a twisted darkwood wand. Muttering under her breath, she uses it to describe curious patterns in the air in front of you. Your body is filled with a strange tingling feeling, and suddenly you start to shrink. The world grows rapidly around you, while the curse which before you becomes as tall as a mountain giant. Shuffling out of your clothes, you make your escape, hopping across the ground until you plop into a filthy gutter at the edge of the square, which is much more to your liking, and where you begin your new life as a toad. Fucking old people. Every time. Okay, that was The Secrets of Salamonis. Have to say, not really impressed with this one. It was a little boring. There's kind of like a circular thing happening at the beginning where you just, I'm going to the docks, I'm going here, I'm back at the docks, I'm going here. It's not all that engrossing. I like the idea of building yourself up as an adventurer, getting that kind of building your reputation up and whatnot. I like the idea that you can build up your skills as well. Not quite sure what the days of the week have to do with anything, but there you have it. All in all, probably one of the weaker fighting fantasy books that I've played. Still fun, don't get me wrong. And that whole thing at the beginning with the two-headed ogres, that was just a dream. I mean, I don't know. But there you have it. If you enjoyed the video, like, subscribe, leave a comment. Hit the notification button so you don't miss a video. But most importantly, stay safe. Have a fantastic rest of your day. I'll see you in the next video.